ProZoneEvolution, let's take a look to the food section. So here we have the list of food, and clicking here on the food in the header, we will see the groups. So we will have the old food, favorites, and all the food grouped by macronutrient, like the proteins, the carbs here, fat, and other sources below. So best way to work for adding the food into the compilator is just doing it from the whole food we have in the database. So just typing here, for example, chicken will give us all the chicken options we have into the list. And taking a look inside the chicken, we will have the charts showing us how the food is made from macronutrients like protein, carbohydrate, and fat. The icons here, the options are this for inclusion or exclusion from the favorites. Then here is to add the food to the compilator. If you click here, it will go inside the compilator. And you can do the same thing, just swiping right, and you will have another instance of chicken here in the compilator. To remove, just swipe left. So this is to delete it, the trash, easy. Then if you want to edit, just click on the edit icon and you will be able to make some modification. So let's take a look to the options you can select into the food. Here in category is just for filing. Here you will say to the application that chicken will go into the meat, which is inside the proteins macro group. This is just to remind us if we can use it very often with moderation, or seldom means they should be used rarely. So that's the function of this selection here. Then we have the classification of the food. Sometimes it's clear. In this case, for example, chicken, it's protein, so there should be no need to specify this. But there are so many other situations, for example, broccoli or the ricotta cheese, which everybody thinks it's protein, but it's mainly fat. So if there's a food primarily made of fats, but you want to classify into proteins, so let the compilator optimize the slider and everything as protein, you should specify here. And then the origin of the proteins, because our application, the ProZoneEvolution, it's very precise and wants to know what is the source of the protein part of the food you are inserting, especially if it's a new food. For example, if it's meat or fish, it's not a problem. The protein are very good. But if we talk about other kind of protein, for example, those coming from the cereals or from vegetables, are not very useful for our body. So the ProZoneEvolution will not take into account all the proteins coming from these sources. So if you specify here, for example, those coming from fruit are basically useless for our body. Here is to add a new food to the database. So you can go over the internet, look for nutritional values or some food for the mango fruit or whatever you have in your country, which is not inside the database, and insert here the values for protein, carbs, and fat. And then just select this for option, and you can save the food and insert new food into the database. That's it for the food section.